Welcome to the Success Pick and Mix podcast. I'm your host, Nicky Raby, a professional pick and mixer. I'm a personal brand coach, a speaker, an actor, a creator, and a podcaster. I'm on a mission to help you find and create your version of success. Your pick and mix of life and business on your terms. A blend that complements your personality, your goals, and your circumstances. Since 2018, I've been sharing interviews and mini episodes to help you unlock your next step, to make it real and make it happen. Round here, we dream big. We go for the ideal version. We talk about money and make moves our future selves would be proud of. This podcast is free and available for you whenever you need it. So do rate, review, and subscribe for new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices and availability, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests. Now, on to today's episode. In today's episode of the podcast, I am talking to Lyndsey, who is the founder of Strong Like a Mother. This is a really juicy chat about identity, fitness, strength, all-round girl power, unpicking limiting beliefs, unhelpful stories, toxic diet culture. I mean, we go there in this conversation, and it's one that I have wanted to have for a while, because I think so much of how we see ourselves affects the results that we get from our business and our life. And now, my friends, is not that time. Now is about rising up and speaking up and showing up as ourselves and who we want to be. I think it's so easy to play small because that's what everybody expects us to do. So I hope that you will take away from this conversation some motivation, some reminders of who you are and how brilliant you are, and that all of the things that you have done and experienced in your life have brought you to this place. And there's a lot of power in that. So do join us in this conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts. As always, do go and follow Lyndsey. She's got the most incredible videos, and there are so many different ways you can work with her as well. If you want to buy us a cup of tea because you've really enjoyed the chat, you can follow the link down below. But I will see you on the other side. Lots of love. Bye. Lyndsey, welcome to the podcast. For those people who don't know you, would you mind just sharing a bit about your business and what you do?
Of course. Thank you, first of all, so much for having me. This is the first podcast interview that I've done for a while, so I'm feeling a little bit nervous, but I'm excited to be here. My name is Lyndsey. I am a business owner. I own a business called Strong Like a Mother. And what we are about is empowering people to let go of diet culture bullshit, to let go of the societal pressures that we feel as people who are typically marginalized by society, to be small and to be nice and to just be a non-version of ourselves. So what we do is empower people to let go of all of that and become their most authentic selves. And we do that through showing them the life-changing benefits of lifting heavy weights.
Yes. So how did it begin for you? Was it a personal mission? Was it something that was happening in your own life? Because what you do and what you share, and when you follow Lyndsey across all social platforms, you'll see you're talking about this, as you mentioned, in a very different way. I was a child of the 80s, a teenager of the 90s, and I was just thinking about all of those beauty standards and all of it, and also then becoming a mum, what was expected or society thought would happen. And my son was 8 last week, and I only just feel like I'm finding some sort of core strength again. But what was your journey into this new way of sharing? and helping people?
So I was also a child of the 80s and grew up in the 90s, and I was a professional dancer. I've been a performer my whole life. I started stage performing when I was like 4 years old. So I've always very much been in a world where it's been all about how I look or my body shape or size. And then I went on to become a professional dancer. So as you can imagine, I experienced a lot of toxicity around my body, and I actually developed an eating disorder and just had a really, really tough time. Even though I'm someone who's always lived in a slim body and I have thin privilege, I still felt those pressures, because those pressures are not about us being small. They're about controlling us, and they're about keeping us oppressed. And so it really doesn't matter what shape or size your body is. We all feel those pressures, obviously to varying different degrees depending on how you show up in the world. So I was really consumed by that, and I then wanted to have a baby, and I really struggled to get pregnant, and then I really struggled to maintain a pregnancy. So I had a lot of losses. And when I eventually was able to continue with a pregnancy, I just didn't have any support, and all of these pressures came back, and there was just so many elements. Like every new part of my life that I went into, every new journey that I went on, I just constantly felt new chapters of these societal pressures. And so I just feel like that's what created a fire in my belly to show people that it can be different. And I had to do a lot of my own healing and my own work to learn that my body is not my worth. I just thought that my body and my looks were the most important thing about me. And so I had to do a lot of unlearning around that so that I could finally love and accept myself. And once I did that, my life changed. And so I wanted to share that with other people.
How amazing. How amazing. And to get to that in this chapter of life, because I have conversations with my mum and even my nana who's 97, and I'm asking her for advice. And I really feel that our generation is that person who is straddling both of those moments of all of that toxic culture, but also seeing those people coming behind us and thinking, well, I've got to think about this in a different way. We've almost been privy to two different moments. And I always think with my daughter, who's 4, who's literally the most expressive person, and we'll like come in and like just take her, just leave her pants on, then just sit and watch telly. I'm like, wow, you're going to be my teacher about positivity, because she's so in her body. It's just amazing. And, she's got rhythm and music, and, I danced a lot as a kid as well. But I'm not going to send her to ballet, because that, as you mentioned, it's like that first moment you stand in a line holding onto a ballet bar and you see how you're different or what your strengths are. And as a curvy 5'2" person, I was like, well, my legs are not long enough, and I can't do that, and my back won't bend in a certain way. And it's about noticing, certainly in the past, about what you couldn't do. And now I really feel with your messaging, it's about, no, let's really highlight and elevate what you actually can do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole message. It's like letting go of what you can't and focusing on what you can. And I personally find that incredibly powerful and really healing for me. And now I've had the privilege of being able to support thousands of different humans to find that in themselves too. And it's been transformative.
Absolutely. And how have you found that balance of essentially starting it from a personal mission that has with it its story, its heaviness, its healing journey, but also being able to get it going as a business and grow it as a business? How have you found that dance between it being very mission led, but also protecting yourself within that?
It's something that I really didn't think about in the beginning, and like I think like most creators who build their business from a personal passion like that, it was boundaryless. I was just working constantly. It became my life. It became my whole identity. Slam was very much me in the beginning. Everyone just wanted to work with me, and I was perpetuating that. I was keeping that going by not having any boundaries, by not letting go of control, by keeping it very precious to me. And I had, I became very resentful, and it became very challenging to keep running it as a business. And I just felt like there was no separation. And when we went into one of the lockdowns, I think it was like we had very different lockdowns here in Scotland, but the one where we sort of had like this 2-week circuit breaker, I think maybe England also had something like that. And I was like, okay, this time we're just going to close. We're just going to close for the 2 weeks and everyone just take 2 weeks off. And I had no idea what to do with myself. Wow. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know, like, I felt so down. I felt so like detached. Obviously, there was a lot of external things going on with us being in the middle of a pandemic, but I just had this realization that I was preaching this message of like, be your whole self and have your boundaries and say no and, live your life for you. But I wasn't doing that. I was living my life for Slam, and I was self-sacrificing all over the place just to keep it alive. And it was at that point I realized I had to make some like really major changes to let go of control, which, to be honest, I would never have thought that I was someone who needed to have control. I'm really good with change. I really love variety. I really listen, because unfortunately for me, I had let go of my body being my worth, but my business had become my worth. And so it then became really challenging for me to let anything happen to my business or take any risks, because then that might reflect negatively. I believed that would reflect negatively on me and who I was.
Wow.
So
self-aware. It's just, and you can just tell that you have dug into all of that. And it, from what you're saying, is also many of us did not necessarily have these role models who were teaching us how to do this. And I know certainly I've struggled at times, because I've been the first to go, hang on a minute, is there a better way to do this? Or hang on, and that has sometimes been met with like you mentioned earlier, but playing small, staying in your box. You suddenly become a controversial figure, or, oh, here she goes again. Yeah. And actually, in this shake-up of working out how we do this, how we build brands and messages and missions, and really help people in that full way, there's a lot of twists and turns along the way. So once you'd been on that, what became your non-negotiables? What did you have to put in place? Because people might be listening to this going, yeah, I think I might be burnt out. Yeah. Oh, I don't really have any boundaries either, which again is absolutely fine. This is not about, kind of judging anyone, but it's, I always feel like we're on a journey with these things, new level, new devil.
Absolutely. I think my main non-negotiable is to really truly live my message. So even after that point where I had that realization, I still kept running Slam for everyone else. And so therefore I kept myself in this victim mentality of, but I'm doing all of this for you, so therefore you should keep your membership, or you should stay with me, or I really held myself a prisoner in that mentality. And it was only when I started to let go of that I was able to really live the message myself and be like, okay, so if I'm saying to people, don't give your everything to your job, and don't live your life, you only get one, and you're only going to be this age and have this part of your life once. Why am I not doing that? And how can I really truly lead from that place if I'm not doing that? So I had to really look at the business and be like, how can I make this work for me and continue to help other people? And when I did that, when I started saying no to things and really asking myself, why am I saying yes to this? Am I saying yes to this because I want to prove myself and I want to validate myself and I want to, I want to get some feel good hormones, or am I saying yes to it because I really truly believe in it and it's going to keep me on the path that I want to be on? And I had to just be really honest with myself and say no to things. I have to be super self-aware because I do love my job and I love to work and I love what I do. I have to be aware of when I'm starting to do too much, and I have to be okay with saying to people, I've overcommitted and now I can't do this. And
Now
just
I'm lying down in a dark room.
Exactly. Rather than just going, oh, well, I've said I'd do it, so I'm just going to have to do it. So I guess I'm also being a lot more compassionate towards myself. Being honest and authentic. Just an example off the top of my head, when people are like, oh, can we have more classes on a Friday night? It's just being honest with, like, we don't want to work on a Friday night and it doesn't work for us as individuals, as coaches. We cannot show up as the coaches that you need on a Friday night. And I do not like asking people to work at the weekend. And I know it's a gym and I know that's hard for people to understand, but what we've done is we've put in place an unsupervised element to the gym so people can still train, and we give them an app with a workout and videos, and they can contact us, and we can, when we're working again, we'll follow up with it. So actually they get so much more than they would have got if we just showed up to a class to teach them a class that 9 times out of 10 they probably can't make either, because Friday night's when plans happen.
Totally. And there's always that thing, but why? Oh, could you just do it this time? And I've been in parents WhatsApp groups are absolutely rife for this, where people go, we should do this thing where we meet every Tuesday, and already I'm like, you're going to get maybe one other person, and then the next week, like, it's not going to be a thing. What you said about uncovering the root of the why, oh my goodness, that is so powerful, because sometimes I've noticed in my own journey is that I found the root of what that thing is, and then I've noticed it show up in so many different areas of my life. So it's the same thing, but it's just popping up in a different outfit. And I sometimes, even though I'm self-aware and do all the work and all the rest of it, sometimes I have to see it in so many different outfits to go, hang on a minute, this is the same thing. Right. Oh, right. Okay. Now I need to do something about it.
I can really relate to that. Like,
yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like the universe was hitting me with a message for, I mean, it was like 6 times in a row before I was actually like, oh, okay, yeah, I better do something
I think it's talking to me.
yeah.
Yes. When people come to you, what is their entry conversation? What's happening for lots of people at the moment?
For lots of people, well, I guess there's a few different elements. There's people who, well, actually, I think at the root of it all is not feeling like you fit in to your stereotypical gym format, even across the variety of different gyms that we have now, private gyms, commercial gyms, like and things like that. Even though we have so much variety, a lot of them follow the same narrative, and a lot of them are showing up in this very masculine way that's like, go hard or go home, all this like kind of toxic messaging, even when the owners are quite conscious and clearly care about what they do. We are kind of stuck in this narrative in the fitness industry about basically trying to make it sexy enough to sell it to people. And the way that we're doing that, whether a lot of people are aware of it or not, is by showing that you can have this amazing body if you come here, or look at all of our athletes. Or so mostly the people who are coming to us are the people who are aware, who've tried that, it doesn't work for them, and they want something different. They want to be able to get strong and to look after their health in a way that works for them. They're sick of being told, like eat a rubbish amount of calories that wouldn't even satisfy a toddler, and do this boot camp like 6 times a week. And I'm not dissing boot camp, if people want to do that, that's awesome and it works for some people, but the people who are coming to us, they're just fed up of this kind of typical narrative, and they're looking for something different. And I think that's how they end up finding us. Strength training is really having its moment just now, which is amazing. A lot more people are becoming aware of it. A lot more celebrities are doing it, so therefore it's more in the mainstream media. And also there's more of an uprising in awareness for women's health, which of course is happening far too late. But with that is coming the knowledge of how beneficial strength training is. And I also think with this next generation of humans, this rigid structure of gender is changing and is becoming much more fluid. And so people are becoming much more aware of the fact that lifting weights is for anyone. It's not just for men. And so people are really coming to us with that energy and looking for someone who can guide them and support them to be able to do this amazing thing with their bodies.
Totally. And that it's not a 19-year-old's game. I mean, at nearly 42, I do feel like I'm not almost, and I thought I would, I mean, again, the naivety of youth, but in a way I thought like I'd almost be, getting to that point where the narrative was you kind of get that boob shelf, you start to sit in your chair, elasticated waist. And if that is your thing, then great. But that's not even necessarily from an aesthetic point of view. It's from a energetic point of view, that narrative that ran through of now you're 40, now you just feel a bit down in the dumps, now you just have to do that. And actually I'm actively looking for role models in whatever shape, size they are, who have got that lust and that vibrancy for life. And to see that actually exercise, it's not just about getting the perfect physique, whatever that is for you, because there's sometimes when I've probably been in better shape in my life and I haven't been happy. But I'm now committed to that path of this has to be for life. This has to fit into my life. And another thing I've realized is, my goodness, it takes time. I mean, I've been doing hot yoga for 18 months now, and I was almost like so disappointed at the end of the first month, because I was like, oh no, I thought I'd be able to do that by like I've come a lot. And even like 6 months into it, I thought, well, why am I not doing all of the things? Until the teacher started saying, well, this is like stage 1 is your 5-year practice. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to shift my mindset and be in it and make it workable for my life long term. This is not a quick fix.
Absolutely. And the thing is what we are sold because of diet culture is a quick fix.
Yes.
And what we're used to culturally because of the technological age that we've grown up in is everything happening right now. And it's really, really hard. You're not alone in thinking that it would happen faster than it does. Everyone comes to us with that mindset. And for some people, we're able to support them into understanding that things take time. Like the person you're standing next to who's deadlifting 100 kilos, they've been here for 4 years. Or it's like understanding the science behind lifting, which is really important to us to help educate people on that. It's not just about your strength, like it's also about what you lift is comparative also to what you weigh. So it's looking at your weight in a more positive light, because knowing that when you're heavier you can lift more loads, and understanding that your strength isn't about lifting 100 kilos, it's about how much you can lift relative to how much you weigh or how what your body can do. And so it keeps it very me-centric, keeps it very like focused on you rather than focused outwardly on everyone else. And I think our industry, the fitness industry, does sell people a quick fix. It's like 6-week program, 6-week transformation, 6 weeks to abs, whatever, new year, new me sort of thing. But it doesn't happen that quickly. It only happens that quickly with a lot of sacrifice, and that is not sustainable, and it's not something that you can maintain. So we're really just really trying to educate people on, because as women in particular, we don't get this education. PE for most of us at school was crap, like,
Yeah.
and we didn't
We
feel
used to do
included.
Beverly Callard fitness video.
Yeah.
Our teacher used to put it on so she could go for a little fag while, so she wouldn't actually have to teach, but we were still exercising.
Oh my
So,
God.
I mean, yeah, welcome to the early 90s. But
Yeah.
that was all of that. And I was just thinking, even with the time limit things, we even watch content now and they'll say, in the next 60 seconds, I'm going to show you 3 ways how you can do this. And somehow you think because you've learned it in 60 seconds, you
Yeah.
might be able to implement it in 60 seconds. And it's just, again, not the truth, not the
No.
truth. So in this holistic way of doing things, what do you notice? What are the moments when you work around, when you walk around and you hear these snippets of people going, oh, I can do this now? Or what are the things that have maybe surprised you about following your methodology?
I don't know if well, maybe it is a surprise to me because I have always loved exercise. So, but what I really find so much joy in hearing is when people come to me and say 2 things. The first one is, I didn't know that I could like exercise. So okay, I don't feel joy in hearing that, but it feels amazing that they've made that realization. It makes me feel sad that people have been taught that exercise is a punishment and that it's not something we do for enjoyment. It's something we do to get thin or something we do to punish ourselves for what we've eaten.
Well, you
So
have the gene or you don't. Like my mum always had that at school. She started running in lockdown. She did the couch to 5K, but was always told at school, well, you're clever, so you don't do the sport thing. And she was like, and then she sort of said one day, I think I'm a runner, I think I can do this. I'm like, yes, go on, mum. Go on.
That's amazing. So it's just like that. It's like people finding movement that brings them joy and realizing that actually I enjoy this and it doesn't feel like a punishment. And then the other is hearing people say, I have never stuck to something that was exercise based for as long as this. And it, like, hearing people say, I actually want to come here. Like, I wake up in the morning, I'm excited for my gym days. Like, for me, that's just so incredible to hear, especially if that person is only coming to this like in their mid-40s or mid-50s, or they're just finally realizing just how strong and badass they are and that this is for them. That's really cool for me.
And what a credit to you, because you've clearly figured out that it's not just about the best equipment or having a plan. Like it's such a culture, it's such an atmosphere that you create, and that it comes from creating spaces for people where they feel safe to go, sorry, I don't really know how, the amount of times where I haven't felt confident to say, I don't really know how to use that machine. And then in the end, there was no one around. So I'd gone, right, I'll go back to the treadmill because I know how to work that. And yeah, it's fascinating. So if people want to come and find out more about what you do and what you're all about, where should they go?
So our Instagram is where we talk the most and share the most about our methodology, but we also, our website is where you can find out about all the different things that we offer. Obviously we are in Glasgow, and that's where our gym is, but we have huge amounts of online content. We have paid for online content, we have free online content. We can work with people one-to-one online. I'm also a business coach and a life coach, so I do a lot of one-to-one work with people all over the world. So basically our website, www.stronglikeamother.co.uk, is the best place to find us.
Fantastic. And what is next? What's in the next chapter?
So at the moment we are, our big focus is always inclusivity, and because Slam has been running for so long now and we've got so tight on what we offer, our members are becoming like super advanced at lifting weights. And what we really want to always offer is this level of inclusivity that allows all people of all levels to access what we do. What we're working on at the moment is a course called Fundamentals, which we'll be releasing in January. And it's aimed at people who are new to strength training, who want to try it but feel like, oh no, that's not for me, or maybe have misconceptions like, will I get really bulky, or will I hurt myself, or I've got a bad back, how can I deadlift? Or maybe people who are going through perimenopause or approaching menopause, who know how important strength training is for them but just don't feel like they want to do that in a commercial gym setting. So we're starting this fundamentals course, and we're going to run it 3 or 4 times a year to allow those people to come and access what we do, and then decide whether they want to come and be part of our membership from that, or whether they want to go off and do their own thing. But basically, we just want to keep reaching as much people as possible and continue to offer that inclusivity for people who are in the beginning stages, as well as those that are more advanced.
Amazing. And just that, know it again, our science knowledge, I can't remember what all the parts of the body are, so yeah, going back to those fundamentals of like, what's that bit of my arm called again? Oh right, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So just getting a fundamental knowledge of ourselves and how we can use strength training to enhance our lives.
And taking ownership of our bodies once again, and making sure that we are a priority, that we are up there, that we are important. It's so key. But thank you so much. I've absolutely loved our chat today. Do head over to the Instagram because there's so much brilliant content, and I just love the way that you approach everything. It's from that 360 moment, and I know you'll be around a long time inspiring so many people. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you haven't already, feel free to rate, review, and subscribe for all the brand new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices, availability, or just to have a chat with me, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests, and I'll see you next time.